In the polished world of royalty, where formality reigns and tradition guides every step, pet names might seem out of place. But behind palace walls, even the most distinguished of royals aren't immune to the charm of quirky nicknames. Queen Elizabeth II was lovingly called Lilibet by those closest to her. Prince George, still in his boyhood wonder, calls King Charles III Grandpa Wales. And as for the monarch and his consort, Charles and Camilla share the private joke of calling each other Fred and Gladys, a nod to the British radio comedy The Goon Show. Yet perhaps the most unexpected of all nicknames came not from within the family itself, but from the tight-knit circle of Prince William's friends during the early years of his relationship with Kate Middleton. When William was still a student at St. Andrews and their romance was quietly blossoming, his mates, observing the closeness of Kate's clan, bestowed upon them a nickname both teasing and affectionate. Royal biographer Katie Nicholl, in her best-selling book The Making of a Royal Romance, recounts how William's friends referred to the Middletons as the O.M. Middletons, short for En Masse Middletons. The moniker captured the essence of the family's unwavering togetherness. Wherever one Middleton went, the others seemed close behind, smiling, supporting, never far away. This image of familial unity wasn't just a passing phase. Over the years, the Middletons have consistently shown they are a family that sticks together. Most recently, that closeness was on full display at Wimbledon, where Kate, her parents Carol and Michael, and her siblings Pippa and James were seen cheering in the stands across several matches. Evidence that their bond remains strong in the public eye. But it hasn't always been center court smiles and polished family portraits. The nickname O.M. Middleton took on a sharper meaning during one of the most challenging times in Kate's pre-marriage years. A media storm that made headlines around the world. In July 2009, News of the World plastered an image on their front page that would thrust the Middleton family into a whirlwind of scandal. The photo, grainy and unapologetically intrusive, captured Kate's uncle, Gary Goldsmith, appearing to prepare a line of cocaine on a kitchen counter, using a €100 note no less, while his stomach spilled out over the countertop. The headline, in stark black ink, screamed, "I called Will AF *******. The shock rippled through the press and royal circles alike. As it turned out, Goldsmith had unwittingly invited undercover reporters from the tabloid into his lavish £5 million Ibiza villa, cheekily dubbed La Maison de Bang Bang. There, he bragged about hosting William and Kate, and even let slip stories of the prince breaking ornamental decorations during a past visit. Suddenly, privacy vanished. Photographers set up camp outside Middleton homes, hoping to capture the fallout. The family, once carefully private, found themselves trapped beneath a microscope of global scrutiny. So, in a moment that perfectly embodied their unity, the Middletons did what they always do. They faced the storm together. They packed their bags and, true to their en masse nature, flew to the serene island of Mustique, a quiet escape in the Caribbean, where a family friend offered them shelter from the relentless headlines. Nicholl described the decision as an act of retreat, but also of protection. The Middletons weren't running. They were preserving the sanctity of their family, guarding what mattered most in the face of invasive judgment. And in the years since, that resilience has proven to be not just a family trait but a family legacy. Fast forward to March 2024. The world gasped when the Princess of Wales, radiant and beloved by millions, announced her cancer diagnosis. It was a moment that froze the nation and sent a shockwave of worry through royal fans worldwide. But behind palace walls, the core of her strength revealed itself once more. Her family. Carol and Michael Middleton, often seen as quietly dignified in the background, stepped up in ways the public rarely sees. Their home in Berkshire is a stone's throw from Windsor, where Kate was recuperating. And there, day in and day out, they showed up, not as royal in-laws, but as a mother and father holding their daughter through her most vulnerable chapter. Her siblings, too, were unwavering. James Middleton, ever the introspective younger brother, opened up in a rare interview with The Times in May. Now 38, the entrepreneur behind the dog food brand James and Ella, spoke with tenderness about the emotional toll of Kate's illness on the entire family. For her and her family, It was a challenging time, James admitted, his voice heavy with memory. And I know for us, and our bigger family, it was a challenging time. His words weren't rehearsed or royal. They were raw. James spoke about what it means to show up, not just to say, I'm here, but to mean it. Being there for someone is such an important part. And it doesn't necessarily have to be on your terms. And it shouldn't be. It should be on theirs, he reflected. Unconditional. I'm not doing it for something in return. I'm doing it because I love you. Simple, profound, true. And that, perhaps, is the real heart of the O.M. Middletons. Not their physical togetherness, but the emotional one. When Kate finished her course of preventative chemotherapy later that year, the announcement came with a tender surprise. An intimate home video. Shot in soft, natural light, it captured everyday joys, the kind so often overlooked in royal life. In one moment, Prince William and Kate played in the garden with their 3 children. In another, Carol and Michael were seen shuffling cards around a table, their laughter mingling with the carefree voices of their grandchildren. It wasn't just a family video. It was a quiet tribute to presence, to resilience, to love in its most ordinary yet profound form. In the narration that accompanied the video, Kate's words settled like a gentle reminder to us all. The journey had taught her and William to cherish the simple yet important things in life, which so many of us often take for granted, of simply loving and being loved. No titles, no protocols, just the humbling reminder that even within the grand walls of royal life, the heartbeat is still human. To end those fleeting scenes of family card games and garden laughter, the world saw a side of royalty rarely offered. A glimpse not into duty or pageantry, but into warmth. The kind that isn't scripted, the kind that happens when the cameras stop rolling and the palace doors close. Kate's recovery was not just a testament to modern medicine, but to the quiet, unwavering power of family. And in that narrative, Carol and Michael Middleton emerged not as background figures, but as pillars, steadfast, supportive, and always just a phone call or a driveway away. Their involvement wasn't a new development. In fact, it had always been this way. Since the very beginning, the Middletons embraced their daughter's new royal life not with ambition, but with grace. They never sought the spotlight, yet they were always present, ready to lend a hand, offer comfort, or simply hold space when things became overwhelming. When Prince George was born, William and Kate made a poignant choice. Instead of heading straight to Kensington Palace after leaving the Lindo wing, they drove to Bucklebury, the Middleton family home. There, under the leafy green shelter of rural Berkshire, surrounded by the familiarity of childhood memories, Kate took her first steps into motherhood. It was there, too, that the first official portraits of Prince George were taken. Not in a studio, not under harsh royal lights, but outside in the garden. The photographer? None other than proud Grandpa Michael Middleton. His lens didn't capture a royal air. It captured a grandson cradled in love, kissed by soft English sunlight. For the Middletons, the royal transition never changed the fundamentals. They were still the same family who'd eat dinner at the same table each night, who encouraged their kids to work hard, stay grounded, and chase their own dreams. Whether that meant launching a party supply business like Carol did with Party Pieces, or simply being the person others can rely on. That deep-rooted normalcy became Kate's anchor when royal life turned turbulent. As public interest swelled and press intrusion reached suffocating heights, the Middletons became her escape. A reminder that behind every tiara is a woman who once laughed with her sister in the kitchen or cried on her mother's shoulder after a hard day. And it wasn't just Kate who leaned on them. William, too, found solace in their embrace. His upbringing, though full of love, was shadowed by tragedy and relentless public scrutiny. With the Middletons, he found something he hadn't had in years. Peace. A home not lined with red carpets but with warmth. Sunday roasts. Board games. A different kind of royalty. It's no wonder, then, that William formed such a strong bond with his in-laws. In Carol, he saw a mother-in-law who never overstepped, never sought favor, but quietly helped steady the family ship. In Michael, he found a man who led not with power, but with presence, thoughtful, reserved, reliable. And it's that family foundation, built brick by brick over decades, that has helped guide Kate and William through the darkest of storms. Whether it was the whirlwind of royal engagement, the intense spotlight of motherhood, or the raw vulnerability of a health crisis, the Middletons have remained a constant, unwavering presence. Even during the moments when the rest of the world had questions. Where is Kate? How is she really doing? Those close to her knew the answer. She was surrounded by love, by the same people who once watched her take her first steps, the same ones who stayed up through the night when she was teething, the same ones who, decades later, tucked her children into bed so she could rest and heal. And while the nickname O.M. Middletons may have started as a playful jab, today it feels like a quiet badge of honor. It speaks not to smothering or overbearing attachment, but to loyalty, to always showing up, to holding space for one another, even when the world is watching. It's no coincidence that as Kate has stepped further into her role as Princess of Wales, she's brought with her the values instilled by her parents. Kindness without performance, confidence without arrogance, resilience without hardening. She listens, she observes, and above all, she leads from the heart. Pippa and James, too, carry that legacy in different ways. Pippa, ever graceful, has maintained a life that dances delicately between public curiosity and personal privacy. A mother now herself, she understands more than ever the strength and tenderness required of a close-knit family. James, with his candid reflections and entrepreneurial pursuits, offers a voice of mental wellness and emotional depth, often overlooked in royal-adjacent circles. Together, the Middletons are not just in-laws to the future king. They are his allies, his trusted circle, his second family. And for Kate, they remain her greatest strength. As the monarchy evolves, stepping further into modernity, navigating both scrutiny and admiration, it will need more than titles and protocols to endure. It will need heart, humanity, and the kind of familial love that refuses to break, even when the world is watching. In a time when headlines are quick to dissect every gesture, every expression, every word, the story of the Middletons is one that resists sensationalism. It's quiet, it's steady, and it's deeply human. They are, in many ways, the royal family's best-kept secret, not because they hide, but because they embody a truth too rare in public life. That strength isn't always loud. That love, when genuine, doesn't need a platform. And that the truest kind of royalty often exists not in palaces, but in everyday moments. Sitting around a table, shuffling cards, laughing with children, showing up when it matters most. So let the world call them the en masse Middletons. Let the nickname live on. Because behind it lies a lesson we all might take to heart. Family isn't about grand gestures. It's about presence, consistency, and the quiet, powerful act of simply loving and being loved.